Hello everyone, another very interesting thread on Spectrum that won't survive this day. 64 to our dearest administrator, Knight Rider. Why was my friend Honest Man banned for 1 month? Simply for raising an issue that deserves CRG's attention. He used no offensive language and was very polite. This is a ban, suspended for 30 days. And this was his posting. CRG should reflect on why the community is filled with so many emotional posts. I'm guessing it's because players' issues aren't being resolved. What do you think? Yeah, this posting doesn't look very offensive to me. He just replied in the fuck you CRG thread. His posting can still be seen when you search his name, but when you jump to it, it's gone. And here's his citizen dossier. Banned until 5th of August 2026, 1 month. I guess his crime was that he wrote a reply, a very inoffensive one, on the fuck you CRG thread. It seems like CRG is getting more and more desperate. Now they are even banning people for postings that are very polite. To be very clear, Spectrum is CRG's turf, they can do whatever they want. However, if a forum is moderated very aggressively, if some forum moderators are abusing their position of power, it doesn't exactly want me to support this project any longer. Let's read some of the comments. Nazgul 084. First rule of Spectrum, you don't talk about moderation. Second rule of Spectrum, you don't talk about moderation. Yeah, talking about moderation on Spectrum is a sure way to get you banned. It is one of the Spectrum rules. By the way, those rules are very vague. Almost everything can get just banned if you apply those rules. 7. Do not discuss moderation actions, customer service details or probations in the forums or chat. Wafflebuds, take it to the help center. Yeah, why don't you just appeal? I have news for you. The same people who ban you on Spectrum are answering your appeal. I'm not kidding, I tried. So good luck with that. CRG seems to be desperate. We still have nothing resembling a game. Year 14, $1 billion in funding, and we have a laggy, buggy tech demo. Just think about this. CRG still cannot even give us reliable elevators. Docking is still terrible too. It works occasionally. The flight model is still nowhere to be finished in year 14. Star Citizen still has one of the worst user interfaces, item interaction systems, and inventories I've ever seen in any game. And this after several revisions. My only conclusion is, most of the $1 billion didn't go into the Star Citizen MMO. CRG has the audacity to put this on the first page, Alpha 4.8.3, Return of Xeno thread. Well, first, this is not a good old Xeno thread, this is a new Xeno thread, which is much more shallow, much more boring. Second, it's do-sync galore. Enemy NPCs and ships are teleporting all over your screen. And quite often you are just fighting stationary ships and NPC statues that you can just shoot up. They don't even move at all. Why does no one at CRG at least sometimes play their own game? Thanks for watching and see you next time. Bye. Auf Wiedersehen.
Say, hey, I've got a master's in business and international marketing, and I wrote a thesis in marine biology. Does that help? So, yeah, it just got evolved into. I guess I got along really well with all of the like Razer and AMD and NVIDIA, SciTech, a lot of partners. We just started making good relationships, and I guess I was the default person because there wasn't any other person at the time.
And you know, this actually leads perfectly into the main course, which I think that we are going to bring out right now. So let's bring out the main course.
Order up, main course.
So, going with the crowdfunding, given the unorthodox financial structure of your company, well, not your company, but the company that you work for, Cloud Imperium Gaming, which might as well be your company from the way that the upbringing start with such a such a quiet start, and then through crowdfunding such major success. How does that kind of structure affect a marketing strategy?
Well, it's interesting in terms of I'm always very mindful of the community. For example, I flew to Manchester. I got this super cheap ticket to Manchester. And Chris was like, why didn't you fly business? And I said, well, I don't know. I saw this $900 ticket and I thought, well, I'll just fly economy because I don't want the fans thinking. And he's like, well, fans don't even know because you got to be comfortable. I said, yeah, but I think it just shows in what you do. Obviously, there's people who say, well, for example, with the Next Great Starship, people are like, wow, is this what they're spending their money on? But I put together a whole bunch of sponsors for that. So we're not really spending much at all.
Before I start, I want to make one thing very clear. I don't hate Chris. I don't hate Star Citizen. I want Star Citizen to become a fantastic game and a huge success. I just don't have any hope left anymore with Chris and CRG's top management. Of course, writing fuck you threads on Spectrum doesn't help anyone. I can understand the motivation though. We are in year 14, CRG is at over $1 billion in funding, 2026 will be their best year in funding ever, but Star Citizen is a total mess. CRG claims Xenothread is back, well it isn't. The new Xenothread is a lot more shallow and boring than the old one. We have massive do things, ships and NPCs teleport all over your screen, or just motionless statues you can shoot up easily. If progress is slow but the result is good, I'm fine with it. But we have massive regressions. We had much better things in the past. The flight model was much more fun before we got the boring no fun master mode in 3.23. We had a beautiful skybox before we got the murky, cloudy universe in 3.24. Hello everyone! Today I want to talk about the skybox, about the universe. This is footage from January 2024. And look how crisp this looks. Look how dark space is. This is a very nice contrast. This looked very, very good. Another video, January 2024. This looked very, very nice. You can argue atmosphere is a bit too high for a planet, that's correct. Still, the skybox universe looked very, very nice. And here we are in the center of Stanton, February 2024. This looked so nice, this looked fantastic. Well, with one exception, Sun is not in the center of Stanton, but the skybox, the universe, looked so nice. And then, after almost a decade, skybox changed in summer 2024 in 3.24. Now we have those clouds everywhere, we have very low contrast. How can you destroy something that was so beautiful and replace it with this after almost 10 years? This is Stanton. Stanton is now murky green. We had John Bridges' fantastic 3.1.4 Grevlev. After John had to leave, CRG destroyed it in 3.5. We had Landing Radar before 3.0. We had repair drones before 3.0. The game was much more fun in the past, etc., etc., etc. Not even the flight model is finished in year 14. Flight model is so important, so many things depend on it, so much balancing, it should be nailed down in year 2 or 3. There's only one way to explain this: absolute incompetence of the top management. I don't blame CRG's hard-working devs, coders, artists and QA people, but they learned if you say something that is not in line with what Chris wants, you better already have a new job. As a consequence, Chris surrounded himself with spineless yes men like, for example, Richard Tyra. All CRG does is calling us roadmap watchers and gaslighting us. See, for example, Richard Tyra, CitizenCon 2024.
And one of those goals was 100 star systems. But, and there is a but, the star systems of old are not the star systems of today. They were based on the privateer and freelancer model. They were unexplorable planets with an isolated and small landing zone and had automated landings.
Richard pretends the old star systems had planets that were not explorable with fixed landing zones and automated landing. This is not the truth, Richard. CitizenCon 2016 already showed Planetech V2 with landing everywhere. After CitizenCon 2016, CRG talked many times about 100 star systems, not just 5. So please, stick to the truth, Richard.
Yeah, it will absolutely happen. We have a star map with over 100 star systems, all with various stars of different types and sizes and stuff. So, and how many planets and moons do we have in the game here?
I mean, just in Stanton system, there's four planets. I'd have to look up to see moons off the top of my head, but three on Crusader. I think there's 3 on Hurston. So yeah, probably 8 to 10ish.
And then 100 star systems beyond that.
It's a lot. Yeah.
I know, no other game promises what Star Citizen does. I get this. However, we will never get the game Chris and CRG promised us in last 13 years. Never. All we can hope for is a bare minimum 1.0 with just 5 star systems, missing basics, missing mechanics, almost no physics, no alien worlds, no NPC crews, and even this is years away. It's obvious Chris put most of the money into expensive art for all their studios, his private cinema, and his interactive movie Squadron 42, so he, Chris, can cosplay as a movie director again. The Star Citizen MMO got the crumbs. Please stop throwing money into this fire. Please stop. This is going nowhere with Chris at the helm. Hey, you're still here. You might want to join me on Twitter or on Blue Sky.